Morning Edition, Prime Minister Minnis opens the 27th Business Outlook this morning. John Cox tells us about opportunities for local artists. And the Zeta Phi Beta sorority makes a donation to the Persis Rogers home. Just got paid, but it's still a rough January. Good morning to all of you. I'm LaDawn Davis, and this is the Morning Edition. Thank you so much for waking up with us. Meanwhile, traffic reporter Sieska Adderley is standing by on Montague to tell us how things are shaping up on our streets. Good morning, Sieska.
Good morning. This morning's traffic report, we're coming to you live from East Bay Street, just across from the Montague Beach. And there's a particular reason for that. And Corporal Decore Barr from the Traffic Division is going to tell us the significance of why we're on East Bay Street this morning. Good morning, Corporal Barr. How are you?
I'm good, Sieska. Good morning to you. Good morning, Bahamas.
So what brings us to this area, Corporal Barr?
Okay, this weekend, we're going to have two major events on the streets of New Providence. One, which would be starting at here Montague Beach, the Susan G. Komen Race for Cure. This is scheduled to start on Saturday, the 19th. This event is significant for us because it's going to cause some road closures and diversions. We're going to have a lot of persons who are participating in this event. We have persons, international guests, as well as local guests, and this is, like I said, a big event. Our main focus is the safety of the road users as well as the participants, the racers, runners, walkers, whatever it may be, who is going to be a part of this significant event.
So what time do the road closures start, and approximately how long do you estimate this area being closed, and what area, all areas will be closed?
On Saturday, this area, the road closures, diversions will begin as early as 5 a.m. The road closure is scheduled to take place at 6 a.m. In the past, we know we had some difficulties, and we work closely along with the organizers. So we've heard some of their concerns. One of the concerns is that participants who, once we put our diversions and closures in place, who won't be able to get to the event. Our advice to you is be on time. Once you're here for the scheduled time, then you would have no issues running into these road closures. But like I was saying, the street is scheduled to be closed at 6 a.m. Diversions will begin going into place at 5 a.m.
All right. Thank you so much, Corporal Barr. And also, are there any other issues that you all face within this area, separate and apart from this weekend's events?
The Montague area, East Bay Street area, is normally not a problem or an issue. Traffic-wise, however, there's always a large volume of traffic utilizing this area. We're just going to advise the persons who have to commute on this thoroughfare, mainly in the evenings, just to exercise some patience. The area is controlled by a traffic light, and once you exercise patience, you would have no issue. You would get to your destination in a timely fashion.
All right. Thank you so much. That was Corporal Decore Barr from the Traffic Division telling us about the big event that's happening this weekend, the race weekend, the Susan G. Komen Race for the Cure, and also Marathon Bahamas. So it's going to be very busy in this area, even if it doesn't seem to be right now. Back to you in the studio, LaDawn.
Thanks a lot, Sieska. Now on to our top story this morning. Speaker of the House of Assembly, the Honorable Holston Moultrie, gave his New Year's charge at the first sitting of Parliament on Wednesday. Just ahead of its annual parliamentarian church service, the Speaker reminded parliamentarians of his commitment to his duties.
I also want to reiterate my commitment to the honorable members as your presiding officer to preside with decorum, integrity, and impartiality. In conjunction with the executive branch and with the concurrence of the opposition, I will continue my initiative to move the institution forward. I assure you that all of my efforts will be purely in the interest of modernizing this Parliament and to the deepening of the democracy in our nation. Today, as we commence this year's first meeting, we will, of course, seek God's guidance in our annual parliamentary church service. It is always good to seek the counsel from the Almighty.
Parliament was adjourned until 10 a.m. on January 23rd. Meanwhile, Creative Arts Director at Baha-Mar, John Cox, says the Bahamas' arts industry is growing and it's given close proximity to the United States. It has even more potential that local artists can tap into.
We could just look to South Florida and Art Basel Miami Beach and how that has radically changed that landscape, radically. And we're a stone's throw away from being able to recreate some of that same energy and have some of that economic flow from a tourism perspective, from a design built perspective, come over here. And I think it's a great time to be an artist in the region, and especially in the Bahamas.
Cox says recreating something as massive as Art Basel could be a long-term goal, but in the meantime, he outlines some avenues that creatives can benefit from now in the short term.
Transforming Spaces, I think, is going on to its 16th edition, which is this annual bus tour that moves people around to different spaces to expose works of different galleries and artist studios, etc. And we kind of see that as the nucleus of something that could kind of turn into a bigger platform. We could start to bring in people who are clearly interested. Art Basel happens the first weekend in December of every year, and it's a 30-minute flight away from here, and most people are there for 5, 6, 7 days. And it would seem like a kind of a no-brainer that if we could develop something, a platform that could take place right either on the heels of Art Basel Miami Beach or right before it.
Activities commemorating Zeta Phi Beta Sorority's Founders Month continued yesterday with a donation to the Purses Rogers Home for the Aged. Sorors were pleased to make this donation to the elderly.
We want to present you with a small token of our love and appreciation for all of your hard work and dedication to making sure that the elderly people are taken good care of. And so we love you.
We love you. And we thank you for this very kind consideration. And I guarantee you that our ladies and gents here will appreciate and enjoy the use of these cups and whatever is in it, sweets. Our senior people love their sweets, so they're going to enjoy it. And we thank you very much for considering the Purses Rogers Home for the Aged. Thank you again.
The Bahamas Business Outlook takes place at the Baha-Mar Convention Center later on this morning. The conference themed Connecting Resources, Maximizing Opportunities, Transforming the Bahamas will be opened by Prime Minister Dr. the Most Honorable Hubert Minnis. This premier business conference of the Bahamas, now in its 27th year, has spanned 7 islands in our archipelago to include New Providence, Grand Bahama, Andros, Eleuthera, Exuma, Long Island, and Abaco. Speakers at the conference include Margot Lang, Dave Smith, and Dr. Robin Roberts, to include a few. Stay close, we've got more news right after this. You're watching The Morning Edition. Welcome back to The Morning Edition. We're so lucky that for the second time this week, we get to celebrate Founders Day with a well-known entity. Today, we say congratulations to the alumni of St. John's College, or the Jolly Green Giants as they are known. Tira Hannah Sweeting, St. John's alumni from the class of '82, is here with us this morning. Good morning and welcome to The Morning Edition, Tira.
Good morning and thank you for having me.
Okay, Tira, give us a brief update on, I guess, Founders Day at St. John's College.
Well, this year we're celebrating our 72nd Founders Day. We were founded in 1947, and we were first located on Market Street. Our founders, we had 14 founders during the time, and we were founded by Father Burton. And our first principal was Father Llewellyn. So those of you who know of our school history, you know Burton and Llewellyn are very known names because they represent 2 of the houses, of the 3 houses that we have on St. John's campus. The third one is Markham House. Both entities, we first started, the primary school first started on George Street, which is in the old Cathedral Hall. And we're now both relocated in 1979 to the new campus on Bishop Michael Eldon Drive in Stapleton Gardens. Our principal is Neveline Evans, Dr. Neveline Evans, and she is also a proud alumni of St. John's College. So we've had past alumni who've been in our midst as principals of the college. Cleome Woods is another principal. For Archdeacon James Palacios, he wasn't a principal, but he's been working in our diocese office. Of our 14 founders, most of them were actually priests within our diocese during the time, mostly English priests. But we want to celebrate all students who've graduated and come through our institution in the last 72 years.
So what are some of the activities planned for Founders Day?
Well, this year, it's not a really big year, but 72 years nonetheless is still big. So we're just celebrating. Every year we celebrate Founders Day on the campus, but we are in a marketing mode, so to speak. We want to let people know that St. John's has been there and we are still here. We want to talk about our rich legacy. We just want to let people know, we've come a very long way. And we have so many prominent people within our society who have actually come through St. John's College. So we don't have anything special really happening other than just to say Happy Founders Day to all of our alumni who've come through St. John's, and to those students who are there. We want you to be encouraged. We want you to be proud of the legacy and the school that you're in now.
So speaking of students, will the present students be a part of the celebrations?
Oh yes, they're going to be at Mass. Starts at 8:30 a.m. this morning. So anybody who is able and willing and want to come out, you're welcome to come out and join us, excuse me, during our Mass this morning.
And what's next for the alumni?
So this year, with the Alumni Association under the presidency of Andrew Five Albury, we're moving towards our reunion in October in Bimini. So Bimini, watch out, St. John's is coming to with the green and gray. We'll be there in October, and we just celebrated last October in Freeport, and we painted Freeport green. So the alumni has a lot of things coming up. We're having our conclave this weekend, and you'll hear from us shortly as to everything else we have planned for the year.
Tira Hannah Sweeting, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much for having me.
And happy Founders Day again.
Thank you. Same to you.
Meanwhile, officials from Drake University recently got a taste of the Bahamas through the Ministry of Tourism's People to People program. Charles Fisher reports on the good time they had.
People to People program welcoming Drake University students, parents, and executives, all glad to be in a warmer climate, but more important, to enjoy what the Bahamas has to offer.
We are excited to be able to speak with some individuals that live on the islands and experience some of the cuisine and learn more about the culture.
I've actually been here before. I mean Atlantis, so it's a lot different being actually out in the real town, getting to see the real culture going around in the Bahamas.
Carla Straw, the Senior Director of Cruise Development and People to People program, she says the Bahamas is a place everyone wants to come.
We are so happy. We love Drake University, and there are a number of other universities that have joined on. And, our goal is to make these people, because these are young students, and so the better we treat them, the more that they will return, they will invite their friends to come back.
The reception was held at the Bellots residence.
The reason we got involved is all of my really, really fond memories was when my mom did hosting, and I'd come home from school and I'd smell that good food cooking, and I'd go, "Mom, we got people to people tonight, eh?" And she'd go, "Yes, we do." So it was always, but it just stemmed from great relationships. I always remember my mother developing these amazing relationships with people who originally she didn't know at all, and then they became great friends.
For the ZNS News Network, I'm Charles Fisher.
Fisher, I know you're an alumni of St. John's College back in the 1960s. Talk to me a little bit about your tenure there at St. John's College.
Oh, LaDawn, I'm going to get you. You came here with a straight face this morning, so I know you were up to something.
You were a Jolly Green Giant in the 1960s.
I'm a proud Jolly Green Giant in the early 1 year or so. It was a good time, and I'm getting information out that some of the students will be going back there this morning, so I'm going to try and make my way on down and let them know how it was when I was there. We were a member of the Dream Team, if anybody can remember. We went undefeated in track and field for a whole year, so going to be glad to see some of those banners hanging in the auditorium. Charlie Green Times, if I had known how to wear my green today and not that blue.
Well, you know, we had a great time yesterday, our Founders Day. Satyrs had a wonderful time.
All right.
So what's coming up in sports?
Coming up in sports, we'll continue the condolences going on to the Barbers. Eliezer Johnson, there's a big conclave coming up this weekend. Dwayne Higgins is in studio to tell us all about that.
That and more ahead in sports.
Good morning once again. Condolences continue to pour in on the passing of the sailing icon, the great Eliezer Johnson yesterday. Now, a press conference was originally scheduled by his sons to announce that the St. Valentine Massacre is still on.
The St. Valentine's Massacre Regatta will be held on Saturday, February the 16th and Sunday the 17th, 2019 at Montague Foreshores. The theme for this year is This One's for Baba J. We, the children and family, have decided to continue his legacy. Our father, Baba J, has held the St. Valentine's Regatta for 31 years.
And on that note, coming up this weekend, it is the Sloop Sailing Conclave. All fitting that I know tributes will be paid to Baba. And joining us in studio this morning is Dwayne Higgins. He's the organizer of that conclave. And first of all, Dwayne, you must send condolences to the Baba. I know you worked with him for years. How was it working with the Babas, Eliezer?
Yeah, I've known Baba from the early 80s. And he's really been a strong tower of support, really pushing sloop sailing through the country and, in fact, around the world. So we really want to extend condolences to the Johnson family and also the members of the crew of the Lady Natalie.
Now, this coming weekend, you have a sailing conclave coming up. Tell us about it.
Yeah, the sailing conclave, this is a few years in the making. And in fact, it's a sloop sailing conclave. And it's something where we're trying to bring all of sloop sailing together from Abaco straight down to Mayaguana. All of our islands are going to be represented, and we're going to have delegates attending, and we're going to get a lot done.
What are the dates and where will it be held?
Well, tomorrow, which is January the 18th, and Saturday, which is the 19th, this is going to be at the Ministry of Agriculture conference room. That's in the Island Trader building on East Bay Street.
Time does it start?
Yeah, we start at 10 o'clock, and we're going to go, general sessions will be around 5 in the afternoon, so all of the sailors, enthusiasts, and so forth are welcome. So we'll go from 5 to 6:30, but delegates are going to start working from 10 o'clock, and they'll go until about 5.
Now, what are some of the issues that will be discussed over the 2 days?
Yeah, one of the things that we've really been trying to get going is a Sloop Sailing Federation. So we're going to have our constitution discussed, ratified, and nominations for officers tomorrow afternoon. And also we have been having issues with rules. So we're going to discuss...
They call it all the stubborn sailors.
Yes. So we're going to discuss national racing rules. Also, we're going to ratify those so that every island that has a regatta, we'll have one set of rules that govern them, and we'll be able to at least have uniformity.
And once again, some people are, and this was one of the cries of Baba J, the national sport, sailing is one of the only sport that touches the entire Bahamas. Will that also be brought to the attention?
Yes, in fact, that's one of the other goals of the conclave, because now we want to talk about organizing sloop sailing in a way where the structure will be in place so that when sailing becomes a national sport, all of the structures, all of the guidelines and so forth will be in place, and we'll be able to just go from one step higher and higher and higher.
Who will be some of the presenters?
Some of the presenters, we're going to have aiming for Jimmy Lowe, Dallas Knowles from Exoma. We're going to have Red Smith, who's going to talk about some marketing. And of course, the ministry will have representatives there talking about funding and the way forward like that.
Why do rules vary from regatta to regatta? And in terms of advertising on those sales, because I always had a problem with that advertising on the sales. I think that is the biggest seller. If a person sees there on the sales, it'll be appreciated, and then some people will recognize the boat by saying, "Hey, that is Z&S boat."
Right. We really only have one location where there's an issue with logos in the sales. All the other venues, they have no issues with it. But we believe that a big part of marketing our sport is going to be sponsorship. And sponsors are only going to really give their funds because they want to get coverage. And one of the ways of getting coverage is whether the sponsor's name or logo is on the hull of a boat or if it's on a sail. So we're gonna be pushing towards those things, and we want uniformity in our rules because we don't need to go from Georgetown to Long Island and then from Auckland or wherever else, and every time we're going a different place, we're setting, having different standards. We want one standard for everything.
So once again, tomorrow and Saturday, and the time again.
Yeah, tomorrow the delegates start work at 10 o'clock as well as Saturday. We're going to be at the Island Traders building. That's the the Ministry of Agriculture and Marine Resources, that building there. And general sessions will be from 5 o'clock to 6:30, and on Saturday from 12 until 4.
All right, thanks a lot, Dwayne Higgins, for joining us in the studio this morning. Once again, the Sloop Sailing Conclave this weekend. If you're a sloop sailing fan, if you're a sloop sailor, make sure going out and check that out. I know Z&S Sports will be there to see how things will go. Until tomorrow morning, I'm Charles Fisher. Dawn Davis is coming right back to let you know how things are going to go for the rest of the day.
Thank you so much for waking up with us. Be sure to join us at 6 p.m. for our 2-hour newscast. Once again, I'm Dawn Davis. Have a great day.